Alright, this is I Sleep Too Late, and in this tutorial video I'm going to be showing you how to use the cEDHSkill ranking bot system as a moderator or admin. Couple of things before I get started. I am going to put some timestamps in the description of this video. If you haven't already, I did upload a previous video for regular users, so if you want to refer back to that video for the regular user commands, you are welcome to do so. Otherwise, there are going to be some repeat commands in this video that are going to be specific to administrators or moderators. Also, I am a little sick, so I do apologize. I may mute the mic if I end up coughing like right now. All right, so why don't we go ahead and get started with probably the most important command in my opinion, and that is the backup command. This is a new feature in version 0.02. All you have to do is hit backup and press enter, and this is going to send you a direct message that you can then go to download the backed up database file. The next command that I want to talk to you about is snap. This is a very useful command because it clears all the games from limbo. So what I mean by that is that if somebody submits a game and not everybody reacts or confirms the game, you have the ability to clear that game. So let me give you an example. There is a game right here that needs to be confirmed, and not everybody has confirmed it. So what you can do, there's a couple of things. You can wait for the game to expire in 1 hour if not all players confirm, or you can just use snap and this is going to clear all limbo games. This is going to be working for regular player games as well as deck submitted games, like games that are specific to 4-commander format, where there's no ping or no user mention in any of those commands. So rank has two versions, a player only version and a deck only version. And the player only version, as I mentioned in the last video, can support assigning commanders to those players. Moving on, I want to touch back on rank since we did just talk about it real quick. So rank lets you, as an admin or moderator, submit games without requiring any reaction confirmation functionality. So you can just simply type the user's names. You can also set the turn order as well, so that they don't have to set the turn order. You can also even assign, like for example, you can assign commanders. So I'm going to set Gyarados to Nekusar, the Mind Razor, and let's see what happens. As you can see here, the game has been auto-confirmed. Commanders were assigned. Turn order was placed. And the bot, I think there might have been one person that I didn't assign a turn order to. So the bot was smart enough to determine that that user was the remaining turn place person. Okay. So the other thing that I want to mention about rank, which is very, very useful, and I think that this is specific to admins. I don't think that regular moderators can do this, but let's go back here and let's go to a previous game submission. Let's say, okay, let's go to this game ID here. Okay, pay attention to this game ID. We're going to copy it. And let's say that I want to inject a game after this last game, but not the most recent, not after the most recent game, but between this game and the most recent game. So you can actually inject a game. So I think you can do, let's just do this. Let's do study calculator win. Let's just do something very generic here. And we can in fact use after game. And after game is going to allow you to inject this game after this previous game. So now it's going to confirm that game. It's going to say this game will be inserted after this particular game ID that we specified, and all ratings will be recalculated. So effectively, you've injected this game to that specific order. So, for example, games 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 happen in chronological order. You can do after game ID, whatever game 3 is, and it will be game 1, 2, 3, and then your new game, and then game 4, and then 5, if that makes any sense. The other thing that you can do if you want to go before game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you want to go before game 1, you can actually do game order after game 0. You can do 0 and it will actually do that for you. Okay, so as you can see here, it did take a while for it to recalculate everyone's elo rating, but it did recalculate, and it does have an optional turn order feature here for people who want to set their command, set whatever they want to do here. So I can record my turn here if I want to, or what have you, and then this will expire after 30 minutes if players want to contribute turn order data. Moving on to undo and redo. These kind of go hand in hand, and they're very simple. All you have to do is hit undo if you want to undo the last game submission, and it will clean up 2 players with if anyone didn't play any games before after the undo. So let's say some only like 2 players in this instance had a 0-0-0 game record. Well, undoing this command will actually remove certain players from the database if they had no games recorded. In this case, because we undid a particular game that was injected, it might be a little bit different here. So it might show up a little bit differently here. But you can also continuously do undo. You can do it recursively. You can undo multiple times. And then if you want to redo, you can also additionally redo and restore the operation as well. And this goes for game submissions. It also goes for instances where somebody uses the set command. So if somebody uses the set command and they did it by accident and they want to undo it, they can ping an admin or a moderator, and you can just hit undo and it would undo that action. So undo works for both ranks and also sets. Now another thing I want to mention here, so here is the chat that I have with the bot itself. You may from time to time get suspicious activity notifications. What does this mean? Well, if somebody won a certain amount of times and it was a little bit, unusual, and the bot was smart enough to flag, okay, well, something weird is happening. They won 8 out of the last 10 games, which is unusual for, cEDH because it's a 4-player game. Usually it's like 25% chance that you win. What you can do is they will notify you via direct message that somebody was flagged for suspicious activity. And if you want to stop getting those notifications, you can do that by just typing opt out. You can type opt out and it says you will no longer receive suspicious activity alerts. Now, if you did this on accident and you want to opt back in, you can just type opt in and you will again receive suspicious activity alerts. And again, this is not a command, but this is something that you can type in a direct message to the bot itself. Moving on to the next command I want to talk about. Let's say that there is a user that, did get flagged for suspicious activity, and you did an investigation and you found that, well, they were doing something weird and they were unethical or they were cheating. And so you want to prevent them from participating in ranked games. What you can do then is just type restrict, and you can restrict a player. So let's restrict Kitty Clinical. So now it'll give you an ephemeral message, which means not everybody can see this message. Only you can see it. It'll say that Kitty Clinical has been restricted from games. So if I want to try to rank Kitty Clinical as a winner or whatever, let's say I want to rank them. The game will not allow me to do that because they are restricted from ranked games and cannot be included. This is also true for a regular user if they end up ranking somebody that was restricted and they didn't know they were restricted. Unfortunately, you may have to just tell them that game is not valid. The person is not allowed to play in ranked games. So that would be the solution there. Now, let's say that somebody was restricted for a very long time and they apologized and they submitted a formal whatever, they wanted to disputed or whatever, you can actually remove them from the restricted list by using vindicate. So if I want to bring Kitty Clinical back into the picture, I can actually just vindicate them. And this will do a couple things. This will remove them from the restricted list. It'll remove the player from the restricted list so that they can compete in games again. It will also remove them from the ability to be suspicious. So if they start pounding away 8 games won out of 9 or whatever, and the bot would have suspected them for activity and flagged them and sent you a direct message, it will no longer do that. So that is what Vindicate does. It does 2 things. It removes them from the ban list, and it also clears them of any suspicion. If you want them to be flagged for suspicious activity again, the opposite of Vindicate is, in Magic the Gathering, it is reanimate. So all you have to do is reanimate them, and this will allow them to be flagged for suspicious activity again. And then the other thing is, so those are the 3 commands that you need to know. And then the last command that you really need to know as a moderator is the print history command. So if you want to do print history, this is going to print the entire snapshot of every single history of the ranked season. If you want to print history, you can take in particular user mentions. So if I want to see the ranked history of Study Calculator, it'll export. Oh, I'm sorry. So this person never actually competed in a game. So let's do let's see, print history. Let's do Mox Mango. So it's gonna think, and it's gonna export all of the history of that user, and it's gonna send it to you in a direct message that you can then download and review. It's gonna be a text file. The other thing you can do with print history, it can take in several things. It can take in decay. So in case you don't know, users do get a decay. If they've been inactive for a long time, their rating may change after like 8 or so days. This will log all of the decay stuff so that you can keep track of it. The other thing that print history can do is you can do set rank, and this will export all the times that an admin set someone's rank manually or whatever, or use the set command. Let's see here. There's also admin, which will export all admin related activities. There's undo, which will send you all of the history of undo actions and redo actions. And finally, you can also type in restricted, and that will print all the list of restricted users as well. Moving on to admin only commands. These are for admins who are a little bit above moderators. There is the set command, which I've talked about in the previous video, but the set command for admins is a little bit stronger. You can actually target particular people. So I want to target Kitty Clinical, and let's set, you have to hit the right button here. You can actually set their elo to whatever you want. So you can set them to 1200 if you want, and it'll update their rating. It'll also change their mu and sigma as appropriate. You can set somebody, let's say that somebody erroneously submitted a game and you want to delete that game. All right, so let's go back to a previous game ID, and let's take this game ID, and let's say for sake of argument that a bunch of people submitted games, like 10 or 20 games after this game, and you want to get rid of this game surgically. So you can't use, I mean, you could theoretically undo like 20 times, right, and then resubmit all of those games. But let's say you wanted to just get rid of this particular game. Well, one of the things about the new addition to this bot is that it now flags games based on a Boolean. So you can do true or false, and you can change that true false statement into false by set. So target or game ID either works. We can target this game ID, right? And we can actually just do an active. So active is the Boolean. Boolean means yes or no. And then we can set this to false. And let's go ahead and press enter here and see what happens. So the game has been modified to false, and what this does is it's going to recalculate everybody's rating from then on forward. So let's go back here and let's take a look at that game ID, B531BE. So B531BE, let's say B53BE. So Kitty Clinical had a rating of 055, as you can see here. And let's see if they played any other games. This is just win probability. Okay, no. So they were at 055. And we injected a game as well. So now they were 065. So when we look at their stats now, they should no longer be 065 because their thing was recalculated. So we got to do player here, Katie Clinical, and you can see here that it's 064 because we got rid of like a draw or whatever. So I think that one of the games was a draw. So that's how it works. And then as you can see, the ELO got recalculated as well. So it surgically removed that game from the system and recalculated everybody's win-loss draw ratio, and anyone else that was affected by that game deletion also got recalculated as well. So it's a pretty interesting command. I wouldn't use it all the time, honestly. This is like for emergency purposes if you really need to like undo something. But that is the set command. It's a lot more sophisticated. It can do a lot more than what's in this video as well. And last but not least, I want to talk about the last two commands, which are thanossnap and endgame. These two commands are basically league ending commands. So I wouldn't be using this at all. I wouldn't recommend it. This is only for purposes of ending the league and displaying the top 64 players. So let's go ahead and look at, for example, list 64. Oh, sorry. Whenever you type list, you have to actually specify the count number as 64. And as you can see here, there are some people who need more games. When you go ahead and do thanossnap, and let's say I want to end the league right now, you can see that all of those players that had need 4 more, need 5 more have been erased. And now it's just whoever qualified who played like at least 5 minimum games. So it's going to display those top players in the league. It's also going to display the commanders that, unfortunately none of them qualified because they needed 5 games. But this would end the league, and this would display the top players. You can do whatever you want with this information. You can do a cut to 64, cut to 16, whatever. If you want to handle tiebreakers, this will also handle tiebreakers for you. As for example, I don't think that there are any ties. I actually don't think there are any ties in this season. So, here we go. So you can see here rank 20, rank 20, rank 20, even though they're in different positions, position 20, 21, 22. And then 23 doesn't go to 21, it goes to 23 now because there are 22 players ahead of this player with 993 rating. Now let's say that this was done by accident. Somebody used thanossnap and they didn't mean to. As an admin, you can actually undo this feature by using endgame, which is, kind of like in the movies. And let's see what happens. As you can see, the ranking has been replaced. So now, even though the previous command ended the season, you've now brought back the season and it'll display those players again in the database. So that's going to be how it works. Now, I would not recommend using thanossnap after using an endgame. That it's not like undo and redo where you can do it multiple times. This is like pretty much a feature that is specific to admins and admins only, and it should not be used all the time. It should only be used during an emergency situation. All right, so those are all the commands that you need to know as an admin and or a moderator. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments or in the description. I will link to my Discord handle. I'm also on the cEDH server or the bot testing server if you need to reach out to me. Thanks.